Good afternoon, dear children. So here let me start with the next chapter, that is the participles. As we had already studied that the participles come under your non-finite verb. When we were studying the clauses, we had studied that the infinitives, participles and the gerunds, they come under your non-finite verbs. So as we have completed the infinitives, now let us start with the participles. Okay. So the first point that we know that the participles are the non-finite verbs, right? Though they are verbs, but then they will not act as the verbs, but then they will be acting as your adjectives, right? So, and in certain cases you will be finding that they are acting as the verbs, but that too in an adjective form. They will be acting as the verbs, right? Now you see here the words which show the characteristics of verbs and adjectives. That means what? When I say that she is flying a kite. Now let me write one more sentence, okay? She is happy to see the flying kite. Now in both the sentences you notice I have used the word flying. As we know that flying is a verb because it's an action word, right? Now you see in the first sentence, she is flying a kite. In this, is my finite verb as we had studied in our class, and flying is the non-finite verb, right? Now in this second sentence you see, so here you see it's acting as my verb, right? It's acting as my verb, the main verb. She is happy to see the flying kite. Now in this sentence, I have used the same word flying, which is an action word, but I have used it to describe a noun. Okay. Now kite is my noun. So when a word describes a noun or a pronoun, it is known as your adjective. So that means I have used this verb as an adjective, right? So I can also call it as adjectival participle. Okay? It's because I am using this word, though it is a verb, you know it, but I am using it as an adjective to describe a noun, which is your kite. So in this sentence, which is my verb? Is my verb, and then here to see. Do you remember the to infinitive we had studied? So here I have used the to infinitive. So this is also a verb, but then it is acting as the to infinitive, which is a non-finite verb, right? So that means is my main verb in this sentence, whereas flying is my participle. Okay. So flying is my participle because it is not acting as a verb, rather it is acting as an adjective, right? So now we'll see that the participles are of two kinds of main participles, okay? That is the present participle and we have the past participle, okay? So these are the main two kinds of participles, and we have the third participle, which is also known as the perfect participle. Okay, we'll be studying later on about this. First let us see this, the present participle. Here what do we have? We have the verb in the ing form. So that means if the verb, the base form of the verb stand plus you add ing to it and it becomes standing, right? So here this is the present participle. So present participle consists of all those verbs, the base form of verbs which are in your ing form. So that is known as your present participle. Okay. Now let us see about how this present participle we are going to identify. Okay. So here remember now suppose I am giving you the example, she is smiling at me. Okay, she has a smiling face. Right. Now smiling is a good habit. Now you see, I have framed 3 types of sentences using the word smile. Now how do we identify that? Okay. Now I will be identifying it as the verb. Right. I will be identifying it as my present participle. And then I will be identifying it as my gerund. Because one gets confused between the present participle and a gerund, because both are having a verb in the ing form. So we have to identify that when this verb in the ing form goes as a gerund, and when it is considered as a present participle, and when shall we consider it as a verb. Right. Now you see the first sentence, she is smiling at me. So that means here, what is she doing? What action is she doing? She is doing the action of smiling. So that means here, smiling has been used as an action word. Okay. So here that means is smiling, is your finite verb, smiling is your non-finite verb, which has been used as a verb, as a main verb. So that means I will be taking the first sentence for this verb. Okay. Then the second sentence, you see, she has a smiling face. Now this smiling is actually describing what? It is describing a face. What type of face is she having? She is having a smiling face. And face is a noun. Remember, face is a noun. So that means the word which describes a noun is known as your adjective. So here this has been used as your present participle, or you can say as your participial adjective. Right? It is not as a verb. Though it is a verb, though it is an action word, but here it has been used, or it has been given the position of an adjective to describe this noun which is your face. Okay. Then, so that means the second one we have as a present participle. Now let us see the third sentence. Smiling is a good habit. Now here we are saying that smiling is something which is a good habit one should inculcate. So that means this word smiling has been used as my subject. So here, now here, so this has been used as a gerund. Now here the gerund can also be in the subject. It can also be in the object also. Okay. So but here in this sentence it has been used as a subject. It is not an action word in this sentence. What is my action word here? Is my action word. So here this smiling has been used as a gerund. So this is how we distinguish though it has the same action word and it has the same construction, that is in the verb in the ing form, but they mean different in a different position. Okay, we have to identify it has got no formula. You have to understand the sentence, question yourself, and then only we can get this. Remember, it has got no formula to identify, but it has an idea. Like here, it is using, you have to think that it is using as an action word. So I have to take it as a verb. Here it is describing a noun. So that means I have to use it as an adjective. Here it is not any action taking place, but it is an act only, which is good. Okay. So here it has been used as a gerund. So children, you have to understand, there is no formula for this, but you have to understand its position. You have to understand the sentence, what does it mean, and then you can easily identify these three different types of the words that we have, that is in the form of verbs, in the form of present participle, in the form of gerund. So I hope that you have understood this much. In my next video, I will be continuing with this as well as the past participle I will be explaining. Okay. So thank you and have a wonderful day.